Okay, so today we're gonna start with the angles in a parallel line. In parallel lines, sorry. So there are three type of angles that are on parallel lines. Let me show you here. So we have corresponding angles, we have alternate angles, and we have interior angles. So how would we know which angles are corresponding, alternate, and interior? Before we start the angles, let's first discuss what parallel lines are. Then we will move on to the angles. So basically, parallel line means the lines that do not intersect each other, that do not meet each other at any point. So I have drawn two lines here. They are opposite to each other and they would never meet each other even when you extend them. See, if you extend this and if you extend this, they would never meet, no matter how much you extend them. And we have some other lines as well. So, are these parallel lines? No, because they would eventually meet right here. So these lines cannot be parallel. What about what about these lines? Are they parallel? No, they are not parallel because they are meeting right here at this point. They are joining at this point. They are intersecting at this point. So what are these lines called? The lines that look like a T or they look like L. This is making an L, this is making an opposite L. So these type of lines that meet each other at this point and they are like one of them is vertical, the other one is horizontal, and they are straight, we call them perpendicular. These are perpendicular lines and these are parallel lines. So parallel lines are the lines that do not intersect and perpendicular lines are the lines that intersect. So they could be like this, perpendicular lines could be like this, they could be like this, they could be like this. These are two lines. Look, one here, the other one here. One here, the other one here. And for this one here and the other one here. So I hope you understand what parallel lines are and what perpendicular lines are. Now let's take a look at the angles on parallel lines. Okay, so if I were to draw two parallel lines like this, and then I draw an intersecting line that is passing through them like this, and I would say that I have got an angle right here, and this angle is, let's say this angle is 65 degrees, and I want to know how much would this angle be, this angle x, how much would this angle be? So as you know that we have got two perpendicular lines here, the first thing that you're going to do when you're working at the angles is that, are we dealing with the polygon? No, this is not a polygon because this is not a closed figure. Then are we dealing with the parallel lines? Let's check. This is a line and this line is right opposite to each other and they're not intersecting. They will never intersect at any point. I'm talking about these two lines. I'm not talking about the one that is going through them. I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about the other two lines. So they are not meeting at they're not intersecting with each other. They're not meeting with each other. It means these two lines are parallel. So now it means we're dealing with the parallel lines. Then it means we have only three options to choose from. Are they corresponding angles? Are they alternate angles? Or are they interior angles? So let's see. It all depends on what shape they make. The corresponding angles, they make the F shape. The alternate angles, they make the Z shape. And interior angles, they make the C shape. Now I'm going to tell you how are they going to make the F shape, the Z shape, or the C shape. So basically, these are the two angles they have shown you. So if you look at the lines, this angle is right in between this line and this line. Is that right? So if you extend this line a little bit, so basically this 110 is right in between these two lines, and this 110 is in between this line and this line. Is that right? Now take a careful look at what shape is it making. Doesn't it look like an F? An F that is flipped on the other side. The mirrored F. F look like this. So when you flip it over, it's like this. So yes, this is the F shape. F could be like this, F could be like this when we're dealing with the corresponding angles. So what did we just learn? As you can see, this angle and this angle, they are both the same. They're both 110. So the F-shape angles, the corresponding angles, are always equal. Now what about the Z shape? What about the alternate angles? As you can see, we have got a shape right here. So let's talk about the first angle. This angle is in between this line and this line, right? Now let's talk about this angle. This 75 degrees is in between this line and this line. Now see what shape is it making? Doesn't it look like a Z? Yes, so this is the Z shape and we call them alternate angles. And as you can see, this is 75 degrees and this is also 75 degrees. So they are also equal. So what did we learn? The alternate angles are always equal. They are always equal. Now let's talk about the last one here, the interior angles, and they make the C shape. How are they making the C shape? So this is the first angle and it is in between this line and this line. The other angle is in between this line and this line, right? So this C is basically like this. It could be like this, it could be like this, it could be like this, it could be like this. So the shape should be like this. We call them interior angles. This is the C shape. And the same goes with the Z shape. If the Z shape is like this here, it could be like this, the flipped over shape. It could even be this way. You know, you could flip it around anyway, like this. This is a Z. This is a Z. This is a Z. And the other way around. This is a Z. So these are alternate angles. The C shape are interior angles. The F shape are corresponding angles. So you just need to remember the shape and you would know what angle they are. Now there's one more thing about the interior angle. The other two angles were same. Look, 110 and 110. This one was 75 and 75. But the C shape is different. This is 105 and this is 75. So basically, the interior angle, they always add up to 180. You can check 105 add 75 makes 180. So they're always going to be like this. F shape always equal, we call them corresponding. Z shape always equal, we call them alternate angles. The C shape are always add up to 180 and we call them interior angles. If this is clear, let's move on to this one right here, the example that I've drawn. So first you're going to figure out what shape are they making. So the first angle is in between this line and this line. The other angle is in between this line and this line. So what shape is it making? Yes, it's making this shape, the F shape. So we call them corresponding angles. What do we call them? Corresponding angles. And what rule did we learn about them? That corresponding angles are always equal. So if this angle is 65 degrees, this angle will also be 65 degrees. So you're going to say x equals 65 degrees. Okay. So take a look at all of them one more time. F shape, corresponding angles, always equal. Z shape, alternate angles, always equal. C shape, interior angles, they always add up to 180. Okay, here goes the next question. So, what are vertical angles? We also call them vertically opposite angles. Vertical angles or vertically opposite angles. So, as you can see, the shape that it is making, what shape are they making? They're making this cross thingy, they're making the X shape. See? Right? They're making the X shape. Now, as you can see, they have shaded this one in green and this one also in green. So basically, the angles that are opposite to each other, they are always equal. See, 2, angle 2 and angle 4, they are equal because they are opposite to each other on this X shape. We are talking about this X shape, we're talking about the vertically opposite angles. The same way, the angle on the left and the angle on the right, they are equal because they are also on this X shape. So let me try it here so you could see clearly. This is the X shape. We call them the vertically opposite angles. This one and this one, these two are vertically opposite. So if this one is, let's say, 60, this one would also be 60, right? Now, if the left angle is 120, the right angle will also be 120. Is that right? Because they are the vertically opposite angles. The top and bottom one, the left and right one. And the rule is the opposite angles are always equal. I'm gonna write the rule right here. See, the opposite angles are always equal. Now, this is what we have learned about the the corresponding angles, the alternate angles, the interior angles. These three angles are on parallel lines. Now, vertically opposite angles, they are not on parallel lines. Why are they not on parallel lines? Because they are meeting at this point, right? So this is something that we learned other than the opposite, the angles on parallel lines, the vertically opposite angles, because normally when you're doing questions, these two angles come along with each other.